Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. 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 When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. Pray. Pray.
Welcome, everyone, to Dr. Pillai's Religion of Religions YouTube channel. Today is August 24th, 2022, and we're about to do a live, in-depth planetary puja using the chart of now, based on the location where I am, which currently is Florida. My name is Swamini Valli. I am a Pillai Center teacher and an AstroVed astrologer, and I'm very happy to be hosting these calls Monday through Friday on this channel. Dr. Pillai has said that the planets and stars are agents for our karma. They help activate karmic lessons for us. They are more than just objects in outer space. There is a divine light being associated with each of them. As we do the puja, we're going to honor all of the planets. We're going to honor the stars they're currently in, the archetypes that rule those stars, the planets that rule those stars, and the planets that rule the various signs that the planets are in today. So it's a detailed puja. We're using the chart on the South Indian style chart. This represents the placement of the planets based off of my location here in Florida. Each of these little boxes represents a zodiac sign. If you're unfamiliar with the South Indian style of the chart, there's a link below the video to a tutorial video, which will explain the layout in more depth if you would like to learn that. This is the ascendant sign right now, represented by AC, which is here in Virgo, which today has Mercury in it. This is Libra, which today has K2. This is Capricorn, which today has Pluto retrograde and Saturn retrograde. This is Mina, or Pisces, which today has Neptune retrograde, Jupiter retrograde. This is Misha, or Aries, which today has Rahu and Uranus. This is Vrishabha, or Taurus, which today has Mars. This is Karkata, or Cancer, which today has the Moon and Venus. And this is Leo, which has the Sun. Today, we have several planets that are sitting in a sign they rule. Mercury rules Virgo, Saturn rules Capricorn, Jupiter rules Pisces, the Moon rules Cancer, and the Sun rules Leo. So I think that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets are sitting in a sign they rule, which means those planets are very comfortable, and it brings a special power or consciousness to the day to have those planets sitting in such nice positions. For the puja, I have drawn the chart of now on a little blackboard on a side table. When Dr. Pillai taught this puja several years ago to myself and Raja Malloy, Mina's brother, he asked us to get a little blackboard and to draw the chart in chalk on a blackboard. If you're doing it at home, it's okay to use a whiteboard or a piece of paper if you want to do that, or just put a saucer in front of the phone or the computer and just offer flower petals into that without using a chart, or just listen. As Dr. Pillai has said, the sounds of all of these divine beings is actually the name is actually a mantra, or quantum sound. So even just listening to the sounds, if you're doing something in the background, like folding the laundry or driving to work, is also beneficial, just hearing these sounds. So however you choose to participate is totally fine. I have, in addition to the blackboard with a chart drawn on it, I have on the side table a lit tea light. I have a container of water. I have a bell, and I have a hand fan, and I have a bowl of fresh flower petals. Right now, I'm going to take the container of water, dip the ring finger of my right hand into it, and sprinkle a few drops of water on all four sides of the blackboard, creating a sacred space for the puja for the flower petals, putting a few drops of water on my own head, purifying me symbolically, and sending a few drops of water out into space towards all of you, whether you're listening live or listening later on the replay, so that we are all participating in the puja from a place of, sacred ground, or in a place where we've been a bit purified before we begin. We start with invoking Ganesha, the archetype who removes obstacles. For him, we're going to use the mantra Om Sring Gung, S-R-I-N-G, G-U-N-G. Om Sring Gung, Om Sring Gung, Om Sring Gung. We ask Ganesha to come and to remove all obstacles to this puja and to remove all obstacles from our day. We thank him so much for his help with this. Now I'm going to do a short Tamil chant asking all of the planets to be beneficial towards us. I have put a link earlier in the chat for the chant if you're unfamiliar with it. Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Avar Kumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Avar Kumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Avar Kumikave. We ask all of the planets to be beneficial today towards us and towards our world. We thank Saint Gnanasamunda for teaching this chant, and we are grateful to Dr. Pillai for sharing it with us. Now we're going to honor the various time elements that are active right now. We're going to invoke the planet that rules the day, the star that the moon is in at the moment, the Tithi, or the moon phase, the planet that's ruling the hour in this location, and we will also address the yoga and the Karana time elements. We start with invoking the planet that rules the day. Today is Wednesday, which is ruled by Mercury. I'm going to put the flower petals on top of Mercury. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Now we honor the star that the moon is in. At the moment, the moon is in a star called Pusha, which is the most spiritually auspicious of all the stars. It is said that when the moon is in Pusha star, regardless of what the other time elements of the day are, the moon being in Pusha star overcomes all the blemishes. So it's very positive for all of us when the moon is in Pusha star. We invoke this star, and I put the flower petals on top of the moon. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Next, we honor the Tithi, or the moon phase. In my area right now, it's a 13th waning moon called Trayadashi in Sanskrit. Dr. Pillai said we would use the Sanskrit name of the moon phase, followed by the word Devi, invoking the light being associated with that moon phase. I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Trayadasi Devye Namaha. Om Trayadasi Devye Namaha. Om Trayodasi Devye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that's ruling the hour. In my local area right now, we are in an hour ruled by Jupiter. We honor Jupiter, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. For the yoga and the karana, Dr. Pillai said we would not use flower petals. We would just say their names 3 times each. The yoga right now is Vyatipata, which has energies of adversity. Vyatipata, Vyatipata, Vyatipata. And the karana right now is one called Gara, which has energies of increased effort. Gara, Gara, Gara. Now we turn our attention to the chart of the moment. Dr. Pillai said we would always start with whatever sign is currently the ascendant, which right now in my area is Virgo, and we would honor the planet that rules the ascendant sign, the sign coming up on the eastern horizon at the moment. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so we start by honoring Mercury, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Now, starting with the ascendant sign, we're going to honor the planets. In the ascendant sign right now is Mercury. So now we honor him for being in Virgo. I put the flower petals again on him. And again, he's sitting in a sign he rules. And this is also the sign in which he is exalted or most comfortable. So we totally celebrate Mercury. I put the flower petals on him. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Right now, Mercury is in a star called Uttara Palguni. This is one of the stars with relationship energy, and it's a star that also has energy for marriage or committed relationship. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Uttara Palgunaye Namaha. Om Uttara Palgunaye Namaha. Om Uttara Palgunaye Namaha. Uttara Palguni star is ruled by Aryaman, an archetype who rules contracts. He helps us with integrity, with keeping our word, with having a sense of honor. We invoke him, and I put the flower petals on Mercury. Om Aryamanye Namaha. Om Aryamanye Namaha. Om Aryamanye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Uttara Palguni star, which is the sun. I put the flower petals on the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Kanya or Virgo, a very detail-oriented sign, a sign that helps us to be analytical, to do pattern recognition. Today containing Mercury, planet of communication, planet of all forms of buying and selling, planet that helps us with our sense of humor. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Tula or Libra, which today contains Ketu. We honor Ketu, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Ketu is in a star called Vishaka. This is a star that can give energies for victory, triumph, success. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Ketu. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Vishaka star is ruled by a pair of archetypes, Indra and Agni. Indra can give blessings for leadership and courage, and Agni can help with transformation and purification. We honor both of them, and I put the flower petals on Ketu. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Vishaka star is ruled by Jupiter. We honor Jupiter, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Libra, which is Venus. I put the flower petals on Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Tula or Libra, a zodiac sign that has energies for harmony and balance and fairness. Today containing Ketu, sometimes called the saintly planet that helps us to have longing for liberation. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Makara or Capricorn, which today contains Pluto retrograde and Saturn retrograde. When planets are retrograde, they are extra powerful. We invoke Pluto, and for him we use the mantra Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. I put the flower petals on Pluto. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Pluto right now is in a star called Uttara, a star that can give blessings for success, especially long-lasting success. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Pluto. Om Uttara Namaha. Om Uttara Namaha. Om Uttara Namaha. Uttarashada's star is ruled by the 10 Visvadevas, 10 archetypes who each represent a particular, unique, divine, universal principle. We ask for blessings from all of them, and I put the flower petals on Pluto. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Uttarashada's star is ruled by the sun. We honor the sun, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Next, we honor Saturn for being in Capricorn. I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Saturn is in a star called Dhanishta. This is a star that helps with wealth, music, desire for good reputation. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Dhanishta's star is ruled by the 8 Vasus, 8 light beings who each rule different spheres of existence. We honor them, and I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules the Nishta star, which is Mars. I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Now we honor this planet that rules Capricorn, which is Saturn. Again, we invoke Saturn, and I put more flower petals on him. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Makara or Capricorn, a sign that can activate ancient past life skills and abilities, today containing Pluto, a planet that helps with rationality and science, and Saturn, a planet that can help with patience, structure, compassion, discipline. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with a planet in it is Meena or Pisces, which today contains Neptune retrograde and Jupiter retrograde. We start with honoring Neptune, and the mantra we use for him is Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. I put the flower petals on Neptune. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Neptune is in a star called Purva Bhadrapada, a star with the fire energy of Kundalini, and a star that helps with purification. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Neptune. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada star is ruled by Aja Ekapada, an archetype who can help us to experience deeper levels of silence as well as deeper levels of forgiveness. We honor him, and I put the flower petals on Neptune. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada star is ruled by Jupiter. We honor Jupiter, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we honor Jupiter for being in Pisces. Again, we invoke him, and I put more flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Jupiter is in a star called Uttara Bhadrapada. Dr. Pillai says this is a star that can help with business development. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Jupiter. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Uttara Bhadrapada star is ruled by Arbundiya, an archetype who can help protect precious things, treasures, valuables. We honor him, and I put the flower petals on Jupiter. Om Arbundiyaye Namaha. Om Arbundiyaye Namaha. Om Arbundiyaye Namaha. Uttara Bhadrapada star is ruled by Saturn. We honor Saturn, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Pisces, which is Jupiter, Again, we invoke Jupiter, and I put more flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Meena or Pisces, the most transcendental and metaphysical of all the zodiac signs, today containing Neptune, planet that helps with intuition and our ability to understand our own inner life, and Jupiter, planet that helps with everything related to spiritual teachings, including our relationship with our teachers and our spiritual community. Jupiter also is a planet that helps with wealth and rules everything related to banking and the legal field. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasier sign with the planet in it is Misha or Aries, which today contains Rahu and Uranus. We honor Rahu, and then we will honor Uranus because both planets are in the same star, and then we will invoke the star. I start with honoring Rahu and put the flower petals on him. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Next, we invoke Uranus, and for him we will use the mantra Om Hram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Hram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Hram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Hram Prajapataye Namaha. Rahu and Uranus are both in a star called Bharani, a star that contains a tremendous amount of divine feminine Shakti or energy or power. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals across Rahu and Uranus. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Bharani's star is ruled by Yama, an archetype who, among other things, helps with justice and fairness. We honor him, and I put the flower petals across Rahu and Uranus. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Bharani's star is ruled by Venus. We honor Venus, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Misha or Aries, a fire sign with very active energies, today containing Rahu, a planet that helps us to think outside the box, and a planet that helps us make friends with new technologies. And Uranus, planet of high intelligence and innovation and success in life, and also a planet that helps with astrology. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasier sign with a planet in it is Vrishabha or Taurus, which today contains Mars. We honor Mars, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Mars is in a star called Kritika, a star symbolized as a razor or a cutter, a star of truth. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Kritikaye Namaha. Om Kritikaye Namaha. Om Kritikaye Namaha. Kritika star is ruled by Agni, the archetype who rules fire. We honor him, and I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Agniye Namaha. Om Agniye Namaha. Om Agniye Namaha. Kritika star is ruled by the sun. We honor the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Taurus, which is Venus. I put the flower petals on Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Vrishabha or Taurus, a grounded and luxury-loving sign, today containing Mars, a planet of passion, and a planet that has the energies of both the healer and the warrior. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign that has a planet in it is Karkata or Cancer, which today contains the moon and Venus. Cancer is a feminine energy sign, and right now it's containing both the planets that have feminine energies. We start with honoring the moon, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. The moon is in Pushya star, a spiritually auspicious star, a star that has energies of nourishment. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Pushya star is ruled by Brihaspati, a form of Jupiter in which he is a fantastic spiritual teacher, teaching sometimes even the other archetypes. We honor Brihaspati. I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Pushya star is ruled by Saturn. Dr. Pillai has said Saturn is a planet that helps to mature the soul. We honor Saturn, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Now we honor Venus for being in Cancer. I put the flower petals on Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Venus is in a star called Aslesha, a star that has mystical powers. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Venus. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Aslesha star is ruled by the Nagas, ancient archetypes who know secrets about cycles of time and have great wisdom. We honor them, and I put the flower petals on top of Venus. Om Nagasye Namaha. Om Nagasye Namaha. Om Nagasye Namaha. Aslesha star is ruled by Mercury. We honor Mercury, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Cancer, which is the moon. Again, we invoke the moon, and I put more flower petals on him. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Karkata or Cancer, the most emotionally sensitive of all the zodiac signs, today containing the moon, which is our mind and our emotions, and Venus, planet of happiness, planet of passion, planet of enjoyment of material plane comforts, and planet that helps with diplomacy, as well as everything related to the arts. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi sign with the planet in it is Simha or Leo, which today contains the sun. We honor the sun, and I put flower petals on him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Today the sun is in a star called Magha, a star that helps with royalty consciousness and high self-esteem. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on the sun. Om Maghaye Namaha. Om Maghaye Namaha. Om Maghaye Namaha. Magha star is ruled by the Petries. These are the ancestors who have moved into higher planes of light that can give us blessings. We honor them. I put the flower petals on the sun. Om Petrisye Namaha. Om Petrisye Namaha. Om Petrisye Namaha. Magha star is ruled by Ketu. We honor Ketu, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Leo, which is the sun. Again, we invoke the sun, and I put more flower petals on him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Simha or Leo, a zodiac sign filled with the energy of power and leadership, today containing the sun, which is our soul, and also a planet so important for our health. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. Now I take a lit tea light, and I'm going to hold it above the blackboard that has the chart on it with the little piles of flower petals on it, and pass it over the chart 3 times in a clockwise direction, offering the element of light to all of these divine beings that we have just invoked. Now I'm taking a hand fan. Some of you could use a lit incense stick. I have a housemate who's sensitive to scent, and I'm waving it around the chart 3 times, offering the element of air and a cooling breeze. And now I take a bell to offer the element of sound. Now I make prayer hands and ask all of these divine beings that we have just invoked sincerely for their blessings, to bless all of us, to bless our families, our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues, to bless our homes, our workplaces, our schools, our communities, our countries, and indeed the entire planet. May everyone on this planet have healthy food to eat, clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, a safe place to live, good clothes to wear, access to health care, good education, sustainable jobs, and may everyone on this planet have love in their life, now and always. I pray for enlightened leaders, enlightened citizens, enlightened laws, enlightened countries, and entire enlightened civilizations. I pray for all of my teachers, past, present, and to come. And I pray for all of my students, past, present, and to come. And I make a bow. You can continue to make your own prayers for about a minute, and then we can do some short Q&A. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the body, peace to the mind, peace to the soul, peace to the environment. Peace, peace, peace. May we all go about our day or our evening in peace. I can take a few questions if you want to post them in the chat for some short Q&A. Thank you all for being here, for participating. Your participation is appreciated. And those of you that would like to help with the channel, if you press the like button or subscribe to the channel, that helps the YouTube algorithm to suggest it to more people, which is appreciated. You're very welcome, Ingrid. It's my pleasure to be doing these pujas, really. This is something that makes me very happy to do for Dr. Pillai. Ranak says, is there a scientific explanation for relationship between days and stars? I'm not quite sure I understand the question, Ranak. We honor the star that the moon is in, but all of the planets are in a star. And so we honor the star that the moon is in each day because that's a very important star for all of us that day, because the moon affects our mind and our emotions. But in terms of the days of the week, I've only heard Dr. Pillai talk about the 7 days of the week, and those are ruled by the 7 bright planets that we can see with the naked eye. So that's the only suggestion, and that is a relationship that you hear in other languages. In the Romance languages, you can hear, Tuesday in some, in French, that's mardi, and that's ruled by Mars. And Wednesday is mercredi, ruled by Mercury. And Thursday is jeudi, ruled by Jupiter. So you hear the connection in the 7 bright planets that rule the 7 days of the week. But beyond that, we pay attention to the especially attention to the star that the moon is in each day, because the moon is so much affecting all of us. So I don't know if that addresses your question or not. So yes, Monday is ruled by the moon, and that is a star that, a planet. Yes, Sunday, you hear that in English easily. Sunday, Saturday ruled by Saturn. In English, you hear some of them easily, but some of them you hear better in other languages. But it's the 7 bright stars. the 7 bright planets, excuse me, that rule the days of the week. You want the rest of them. Okay, the sun rules Sunday, moon rules Monday, Mars rules Tuesday, Mercury rules Wednesday, Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, Friday is ruled by Venus, and Saturday is ruled by Saturn. So those are the days of the week and the planetary assignments that I have heard from Dr. Pillai. That was one of the first things that he taught to us after he had posed the question to us, what causes time? And it was one of the days where you're like staring at the floor going, don't call on me because I don't know the answer to that. But he said it's the movement of the planetary being, you know, the planets, the stars. We have a solar calendar, a solar month, we have lunar months, but their movement is what we use to measure times. Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, correct? Wednesday is ruled by Mercury. Barbara is saying her Western sign has brought up confusion for her. How can you resolve this conflict? All I can say to you, Barbara, is to look, if you're looking at your Western chart, which will be probably a little different from your Vedic chart, is try the Vedic chart on like a new dress or a new shirt. Just try it on and see how it feels. So I am not trained in Western astrology. I can't speak to it. I'm not going to try to do a comparison between the two. Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, Ra. I see your question in the chat. So all I can say is, you know, try your Vedic chart on like a new dress, just see how it feels. It was a shock to me all my life. You know, I've been told that my sun is in Sagittarius in the Western system. And in the Vedic, my sun is now in Scorpio. And so that was a bit of a surprise. And I was like, what do you mean? But then I learned more about it and I thought, actually, that does fit me very well. So you might just learn more about the Vedic and see how you feel about it. My first meditation teacher many years ago had said to us one night that he thought the Vedic was more accurate than the Western, but it takes time to learn. And that's true. It does take time to learn. It is perhaps a more complex system because it has the stars in it as well as the planets and the signs. But it's a more ancient system. So I would say resolve the conflict by saying, you know, if you want to look at your Western chart and if that's helping you, allow that help to come through. If you're looking at your Vedic chart and that's helping you, allow that help to come through. But allow yourself to be in a place of peace about this. They are two different systems. And I'm not going to, you know, I just look at them as like two different dresses. And, you know, which dress did you want to wear today? Maybe would be a way to help yourself be a little bit more at peace with it. Yes, Rara, Friday is Venus. In the chat, I'm just answering a chat question now. Yes, those are all of them. And let's see here. On this link here that I'm about to give you, I'm giving you a link for a page that does have the planetary rulers associated on it. Your sun in your Vedic chart may be in a different sign than it is in your Western chart, Barbara, because the Vedic chart will be looking from a sidereal point of view, and the Western is looking from a tropical point of view into the sky. So they're looking from a slightly different angle. However, I would say in the Vedic chart, we look at your ascendant sign is very important, the one that was coming up on the eastern horizon when you were born, and the planet that rules that sign is important. And we look at where your moon is. Your moon sign is very important. And then we also do consider your sun sign, but we also are looking at the star that your moon is in. So we are not so looking at just your sun sign. It's just not just that. Okay. It's a little bit more complex in terms of and you're more complex. Every person is more complex too, you know, you're more than just one sun, one planet, one sign, that type of thing. It's a very intricate chemistry. And even if you just think about your physical body, how many different systems we have, we have our blood, we have our bones, we have our muscles, we have our respiratory system, etc. You go to the doctor, he can't just say you're one thing. He or she has to look at several different systems in your body to, digestion system, etc. So it's a very complicated kind of chemistry in a way, with all these different planets and stars and archetypes interfacing with it. But again, all of these are beings out there in space with their objective forms, but their energies are also inside of us. And doing this puja helps to awaken those connections internally inside of all of us as we're doing it. And when we pause, some people may have seeings, some people may have feelings, some people may have understandings. We all have different modes of perception that are our best mode. But those are all valid: seeings, feelings, understandings, as we do the puja. Okay, so yes, the Vedic astrology, it's easy to fall in love with it as you learn more about it. It's just we have a bit of an educational mission to share it more out with the world, and that's part of what Dr. Pillai wants to do. And I'm happy to be helping in a small way with the Planetary Pooja. Okay, we need to let you all go, get about your day or your evening. Namaste to everyone. May the light in me honors the light in you. May light encompass all.